right, guys.
I'm just kidding. That's the only time you'll hear that, if you even heard that.
Yes, you heard Heidi's. Never mind. I think Gallstones falling out, but. But,
I don't know even how that works anatomically.
My grandma got a Gallstones skin one time.
She had her little coffin.
She had him in a cup, sitting on the counter.
Where did this come from? Did you just unlock some deep memory?
She showed us, and she like shake him and showed all us, 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old grandkids who'd be freaking out over these Gallstones.
So now does the sound of ice clinking in a glass kind of make you
It triggers every time, I think Gallstones. Every time I hear ice clinking in a cup.
Okay. Well,
yeah, I remember she had the nice little like a styrofoam
She
cup.
really did. Did she asked to keep them?
I guess so. I don't know. She knew all the grandkids are coming over for Thanksgiving, so that kids may teach you about science or something.
She was like, these bunch of homeschoolers, they don't know anything, so to give them a hands-on experience. That's gross.
Yeah, so always, people pop out their teeth too, stuff like that too. Grandparents too, like the dentures.
Oh, I
scare
know.
their
I
grandkids.
thought you meant their real teeth just randomly. I was like, not
pull them
really.
out.
Not
Going
really.
crazy, insane.
So there's a little girl in our church that has been pulling our friend's teeth every Sunday for 3 weeks or something.
Okay.
And so every week she comes around I just see her around the church and she's holding some other kid's tooth in her hand. Well, so the parents of the little girl whose teeth are being pulled told, and I can't reveal, I'm not trying to say names, so I'm just trying to be careful, told the other girl's parents, thank you, so I know you probably think we're upset, we're really not. We have been having to take her to the dentist to get her teeth pulled because they don't come out. Her new teeth are growing in over her old teeth because her old teeth aren't coming out. So they were like, you just saved us $200 by having your daughter pull. Because the parents of the girl who were pulling the teeth were really scared. You can't just pull people's teeth.
Wait for that cease and desist to come in the mail saying
she's probably going to be a
got a
dentist or
restraining order against you.
I just think it's funny that that's what they were spending. Pastors preaching a shakedown message or whatever, and they're over there pulling teeth.
Pulling out teeth. Hold on, scalpel, please.
Yeah, doing tooth extraction in the fourth pew. So these are also the same girls that wrote a note and put it in the offering. I don't know if I can even say what was on it. If I say this, can you cut it out if it's not appropriate?
Sure.
It's funny though. Did I not send this to you?
No.
So let me just give a verbal depiction of this.
Okay.
And
For us who have less than a 5th grade education, what does a verbal depiction mean?
A mental image of this. But I'm just gonna say the words. So let's see. I know I sent it to my sister-in-law, so let me find her.
I'm gonna start putting notes in the offering on signs, just random stuff.
What, teeth? Gallstones?
No, it's unsigned notes. It's random notes. You have 24 hours.
I'm not sure how often that happens, but so the person who does offering sent this to me. Oh, you better come up because this is so funny. Okay, so let me just give you the verbal depiction of this. It is a piece of stationery.
Okay.
Old school stationery. It's got floral
Some
around
class,
the border. It's got a little picture of a little angel cherub girl with curly hair, glowing, praying. She's very angelic and baby whatever. Okay. And the verse it says is, "Open my eyes that I may see wonderful things." Psalm 119:18.
Amen.
And in childish handwriting, sprawled out across the paper, it says, "Booty butt cheek." And booty is spelled Boodee. Butt is spelled appropriately, and cheek is spelled just CHEK. Check. So booty butt check.
Amen.
Let me show you. It also came with $1 taped to it, is what I heard.
Well, if I was them,
they were like, "This is bad, but we're gonna give and make up for it." So.
All I'm saying is, I'd be careful. I'd wear gloves with that $1 if I was paying that $1. That's what I'm saying. Who knows that dollar came from? Who knows that dollar came from?
So these are the two girls that have been pulling teeth in service. And the part that did me in was the psalm. It's funny, and then you look closer and it just says, really pretty, "Open my eyes that I may see wonderful things."
Yeah, it's nice stationery. A lot of class there.
Booty butt.
Yeah, my question is, who do they think the offering goes to?
I don't know.
Because who are they trying to send messages to?
I don't know.
Did he go straight to pastor? Good. Pastor's like,
you know, I think it'd be funny if pastor like taped it to his office or something and just saved it.
Or it's over the church announcement. All right, guys, whoever put this note in.
I'll never get rid of this picture, and I'm saving it till they turn 18. It made me laugh. I cried. Oh, I laughed so hard. So kids are hilarious.
Man.
Anyways, glad we got to that topic.
Yes. You got from gallstones to
teeth to booties.
With 2Ds, hallelujah. Oh my goodness. But today we're going to be covering, what is it, 10 or favorite Christmas traditions?
Well, yes, Christmas traditions, I'm curious. I recently found, do you guys know what Krampus is?
Isn't that a devil?
Yeah. So, I guess in some European countries, they do a thing called a Krampus run. I guess the whole story isn't really like an American version of the St. Nicholas story, but their version is like Santa Claus comes and then also
eats your children.
A demon version of Santa Claus who like punishes the bad kids or something. And they call him Krampus. So it's like St. Nicolaus or whatever in Krampus. And apparently now they do this tradition called a Krampus run where these people, and it's become like they like hand carve these really ornate demon masks or something, and they run down the street and they are allowed to whip people, beat them. Like people have ended up hospitalized from these things. So it got me thinking, but other people in those countries don't even think twice about it, and we see that and we're like, what in the world?
So that's why we have missionaries to other countries. That's all I'm saying.
What?
So we have missionaries to other countries.
To eradicate the Krampus.
Yes. What countries is that?
Drop some names.
Austria, Salzburg.
So everywhere Hitler was? Got it. Okay, good to know.
Okay, well that's a strong...
that's a good turn.
Our kid is hiccuping. My kid is hiccuping. We don't all collectively have to.
Yes, the just kid is hiccuping.
Yeah, the just kid. The just baby. No, he is hiccuping. Sorry about that. Anyways, I was curious, what other... I guess in some places
they do... What other Christmas traditions do you have?
What other traditions? And I guess another one over in Europe, I'm not sure exactly where, like Holland or something, whatever. They put, instead of stockings, they put clogs out.
The shoes, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Sure.
Yeah, that's another feet.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Rotten
well, isn't there's a story behind that, isn't there? Like, the story is...
That is so
that,
ugly.
They don't wear socks.
Well, St. Nicholas, because they had the wooden shoes. And I think there's this
Did you just look up Krampus? I'm telling you. Isn't that the creepiest thing?
It is.
Imagine being a child and being told, if you're not good, forget Elf on the Shelf.
Forget Cole. We're going to make you Cole.
I have a hot take about Elf on the Shelf. I actually think it's conditioning people. Like the government is...
For Big Brother? For Big Brother?
I really do.
What's Big Brother?
The government.
Read 1984, Vero. Seriously, read 1984.
It actually is really good.
But
because it's all about the whole Elf on the Shelf is it's Santa surveillance and he reports everything you're doing and he's watching everything. That is so whatever. I think Elf on the Shelf and the Woods are probably the same thing.
Has their tinfoil hat on, hand off Alex Jones.
Actually, I saw something the other day, a meme about a tinfoil hat, and it was a really pretty pretty hat, but it was made out of tinfoil, and it was my tinfoil hat's just getting bigger and nicer and more ornate as the days go on. And that is true. Anyways, Christmas traditions. Which Elf on the Shelf, everybody talks about it like it's a long-standing tradition. The first time I ever heard about it was 2 years ago, maybe. But they're always you know Elf on the Shelf? I'm like, no, I don't know. Where did it come from? What is it?
Where'd it come from? Where'd it go? Where'd it come from?
Big Brother Joe. Okay, so go. Traditions.
So, one thing we do, or used to do, a lot when I was growing up, is we'd have a Christmas morning present and wrapping all that stuff, and then every Christmas morning, Mom would make homemade donuts for us.
Aww.
And that was one of those things where every Christmas morning she'd make homemade donuts after we had her presents open, before I had a bunch of company come over for the afternoon lunch, have homemade donuts and play with the toys, shoot the dogs, whatever else,
I love that.
Our Christmas tradition is that we don't celebrate Christmas.
Wait, for real?
On Christmas Day.
We do that Christmas Eve party all night stuff.
Yeah, we have a Christmas Eve party, basically.
The Hispanic tradition.
We start pretty late. And then...
We were last year. Jeremiah was trying to get me to come over to y'all's house on Christmas Eve. After the watch that service, y'all go do your Christmas. So 30 people over there.
There was a lot of people there.
We don't either. Usually on Christmas Day we don't do anything. We always do Christmas with my mom and them on Christmas Eve. So
Yeah, y'all came over to my house last year, didn't you?
We did, I think.
But y'all didn't do anything Christmas Eve, or maybe you did before church. Cause
We do it.
Because we went to the wee pancake place last year for Christmas.
That
Eve.
was Christmas
Eve.
We did all of it that morning.
Gotcha. Yeah.
We always do it Christmas morning.
So
we do
actually,
breakfast and lunch.
I'm glad we brought this up. I think we need to make that a Christmas tradition,
We pancakes.
or like going to
Eat on Christmas Eve.
Eve. Yeah, as like
Yeah.
a big group of like.
Well, we can't do it this year because we have plans. I'm sorry. Maybe next time.
Next year, I'll be,
It should be
celebrating
gone
Christmas.
too.
Be in Mexico.
Oh yeah. But I think
Yeah, and I'll be alone for Christmas.
I'll be alone for Christmas.
you can still probably go over to BJ's house.
Oh yeah. He's like, who's this
Just
white
show
guy?
up.
Who's this
Yeah.
white guy in my house right now?
So your tradition is a party on Christmas Eve. Is there anything else? Like, do you open presents at Christmas Eve, or
So
okay.
Christmas Eve food, just like everything, and also only the kids get gifts.
Well, I'm a
so
kid,
I
so-
have graduated out for being
Oh.
a kid.
Oh,
Sad.
bummer! You've reached a milestone. When did you hit that? Like,
18?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Hard line there.
sorry,
Yeah.
man.
It's a hard line.
It's a hard knock life for
It's
us.
okay. It's
That's
fun
always-
watching all the kids.
Just kind of be thankful, because then when you become an adult, you don't have to buy 20 people's gifts. We haven't graduated to the drawing name. Well, part of it is because, one year we did, like, each sibling couple draws the name of another sibling couple,
Yeah.
and then Granny and them bought for all the kids, because they do anyway. They spend like $1,000 on presents. It's
I'm a
ridiculous.
kid now.
Like, and the thing is, like, I don't like getting the kids gifts because we have to budget for it, obviously, and so I don't want to get them a coloring book and Granny buys them a drone, because they open mine, they're like, okay, loser, and then they open Granny's and it's like a car.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the Granny bought for the kids, and then all of us siblings that, but it was hard because we would see stuff and be like, oh, that'd be so, I know so and so would really like this, and we missed out on some of the gift giving, so it was cheaper, but it was not as fun. So
Yeah.
now we're back to just
Everybody-
spending all of our money.
All the money gone.
Anyway.
Merry Christmas.
So
Merry Christmas. Yeah, just Christmas traditions. We always have people over at our house in the afternoon, usually.
yeah.
Big kind of party thing. We'd always do. Everyone come over to our house, have a good get together.
We always do. We never eat regular Christmas food.
Yeah, we did Mexican food this
We're
year.
the same way with Thanksgiving
Me
too.
too.
Like, we are
Yeah.
not traditional. But I don't like Thanksgiving food, and I don't like Christmas food, which I think is pretty much the
What's
same thing.
Christmas food?
It's
Ham.
Yeah, it's gross.
I don't mind a ham if it's good cooked right, but it's
Yeah.
like I love.
Yeah.
One
That's
thing
like a
that actually is really
traditional-
good that my mom used to make a lot of Christmas for the Christmas dinner part were like the angel food biscuits, what they're called. Like they're like super light and fluffy biscuits, and
Oh.
like they're like the best biscuits
That's
ever.
Good.
That's fine. I just mean like plain ham, and then the thing is when everybody brings something to the dinner or Thanksgiving or whatever, and it's like mediocre.
I
Listen,
don't
this is why I
think
hate
we've ever
potlucks
had-
because it's a bunch of mediocrity expecting
It's
excellence.
like really bland potatoes and dried chicken
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
dry turkey.
I don't
Yes,
think
ma'am.
I ever had a traditional
See,
Thanksgiving
oh okay,
meal in my
really?
life. Like
Good, good on
whenever
you.
we've
Like
celebrated.
you've never had a deviled egg that tasted like a sock?
I don't.
Or
even-
turkey that's chewy.
No.
You've never
So
had
this year,
green bean casserole
Yes.
that was
Oh.
burnt on top of it?
not on Thanksgiving,
Oh,
Oh,
but like as a I don't know. We always do something different. Like I think last year we did Italian, and this year we did
hey, Italian
barbecue.
Thanksgiving is the best Thanksgiving food ever. When me and Josh went to Branson
stop.
that year,
No.
We went to
we
Italian
made
food, it was
gyros
amazing.
for Thanksgiving this year. My
That
mom
sounds-
made the lamb and Greek chicken, and then we brought all the toppings for it, pita bread, all that jazz, and it was amazing. It was so good.
Sounds so.
Salivating just thinking about it. It was so good. But we've done pho for Christmas. We've done
Fun.
Ooh.
we've done pho. We've done gyros. We've done Mexican food. We've done. Mom usually always makes tacos for Christmas lunch.
Yeah.
So like Christmas Eve morning though, we all do breakfast. So everybody brings fruit,
I kind of want so like
donuts,
a
cinnamon
big in like our part of the country, a big like alternative for like traditional food is Mexican food. I feel like everyone's like we'll do
rolls.
Tex-Mex
Well,
or
'cause everybody
Tex-Mex.
loves it.
But that's what I'm saying. But I know like when you start going up more north, Mexican food's not as like much of a thing. So we went to Colorado one year
Mediterranean
for vacation.
kind of.
We I wanted Mexican food. There was like one Mexican place in like the 100-mile radius of where we're at,
Wow.
and it was trash. Like it was the worst
In
Mexican food.
Colorado?
Yeah.
That's funny because all the ladies from in our church that are from Colorado give us so much grief about how our Mexican food isn't as good
See,
and
when I
how we
went
don't
there,
have the right green chili verde whatever.
Well, that's a like New Mexican food, not really
Maybe.
Mexican food. I feel
I
like
don't know.
green chili is kind of more like a New Mexican dish.
But they
like,
really do. They give us so much grief. I'm like, would you just? Our Mexican food is just fine. Just leave us alone. We're closer to the border than you are anyway.
it's more of a text. I think it's a different style of like
Maybe,
more
I'm
like
sure.
green chilies. But like the more north you go, the less Mexican food's like a thing because it's not
Makes sense.
more. So like, my question is, what is their like go-to alternative
Probably
for
like Italian.
They're
maybe?
like,
Probably.
I feel like Mediterranean.
Jewish.
I saw a lot of like Asian, like I'm talking about like Indian, Lebanese, even like Ethiopian food when I was in DC. Like there wasn't a lot of Mexican food, but it was a lot of like different cultures.
Well, yeah, there's a ton. And I feel like when you go north, like New York, you know, Washington, D.C., whatever, is a lot of probably really good versions of those things, like Italian or whatever, like, because the, you know, that's where they...
Italian restaurant.
Yeah, how was your? For those who don't know, Vera went to DC last weekend
I didn't even know that.
to get her visa
What, like, how long?
to
Just
go to
like,
Canada
whatever.
for the holidays. But
I was there for 2 days.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
So
that.
I flew in Monday night. I was there all day Tuesday, and I flew back
Were you just by yourself?
Wednesday.
I'm so proud of you. I could never.
Thank you. I thought I couldn't either, but I did.
Did you just, like, sit in your hotel room all day, or did you get out and do stuff?
I went out and did stuff.
Good.
I went to the Washington Monument, and I went to the Abraham
I'm
Lincoln
so proud
Memorial.
of you.
I went to
I'm
the
so jealous.
Bible
Why didn't you take me
Museum.
with you?
It was
I can
really
fit in a
like
regular
last minute
suitcase.
spontaneous trip. It was a lot of fun though. I recommend. I would go again.
That's cool. I think it'd be fun to do like a weekend trip, seriously, to somewhere cool like that, and just go and just do all the things at once and then come home. Like I think
Yeah.
that'd be fun.
did you go to like the Bible Museum or something like that too?
I went to the
Yeah.
Bible Museum. I wanted to go
I
to
could
the
have got you a
Holocaust
discount
Museum,
actually. You
and I
should have let me
didn't.
know.
At the Bible Museum?
Because Hobby Lobby owns it.
Are you kidding me?
You could have what?
You
Got
told
her
me this
discount.
after I come back.
Well, I
Why do you
didn't
get a
maybe.
discount on Hobby Lobby?
Huh?
Why do you get a discount on
Because I
Hobby
worked there
He's an
Since when?
employee.
for like a while.
How
What was that meme I think the other day? It was like, something about like,
how much of a discount?
we've been friends for 20 years. How's your job going? And also, what is it? Because I don't know. That were things at work. What do you do?
It was a lot of
I'm
fun.
homeless actually. Thanks for asking.
I was also in Chicago for a little bit, about 3 hours. It was
Did you get any pizza?
Do you feel
No.
more cultured? Like,
I feel
Have you done a lot of traveling like, in America or no?
mm-mm.
Like what's the
I've only-
how many states you been in?
Texas, Kansas, Nevada.
So South Oklahoma and North Oklahoma.
wow.
Yeah.
So that's
One
Okay.
time
That
I
was a
went to
big deal for you,
Indiana.
huh?
Well, we went to Indiana this year,
Yeah.
and then
Oh,
I went
yeah.
a few years.
Well,
you've been to Missouri, I'm sure, like St. Louis, right?
Yeah, we should at NYC this past year. So
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
and then I went to Nevada one time for a wedding.
yeah, so you have to go experience some of the rest of
That's
America.
really cool.
Mhm.
I'm same
Which
as you.
was
Haven't really traveled
Pretty,
that much.
pretty nice.
I've been to
liked it.
Virginia.
Virginia, which is right by, which is right by DC. I think. I mean,
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
it's like right
yeah.
there.
I don't know.
It's the same-
I just know there were mountains and I
The
didn't like it. so.
Airport was there was mountains. See, I didn't see any mountains. I
Depends
didn't
where you're
really
at.
pay
Well, they
attention.
felt like mountains in the backseat of a car.
No, but it was a really, really fun trip, and I did again. I Ubered everywhere. I met a lot of ethnic
Yeah, I'm
people,
sure.
Ethiopians, and
Honestly though, I feel like and you speak fluent Spanish, probably like fit right in, like, because everybody there.
I mean, there's a different kind of ethnic, but okay, Heidi.
Huh?
still.
There's a different ethnic group,
Oh,
but
I
still.
know that. I'm saying like everybody there seems so much more cultured to me. Like they're not just plain like they usually speak multiple languages or they're like pursuing something really cool. You're artsy. Like I feel like you just fit in. I'd be like,
Hey y'all,
like,
so where we going?
What in the Duggar family is this mess here?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Anyways,
It was a lot of walking too, like a lot.
Yeah.
And I took the wrong shoes. I only took one pair of shoes. I took one backpack and one pair of shoes with
Yeah.
for 3 days.
Yeah, and no change of clothes. So.
I'm
Yes,
so
I did. I
impressed.
took
Like that's
it's
not
about
a big
3
deal.
changes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like,
Honestly,
I'm surprised like your parents let you go. Honestly, by yourself.
Honestly, I'm surprised
same.
too.
Yeah.
But it was a lot. It was
If I
a
was your
lot of
mom, I
fun.
would have said no.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah, that
DC
is kind of a-
is a little like
Oh,
there's
yeah.
some like there's some spot not everywhere in DC, but there's some spots in
Yeah.
DC that's not
Well,
like
and just Uber in and of itself is like
yeah.
kind of.
It was my.
Well, maybe it's really not that dangerous, but it feels like that's all you hear about it is that it's like
I've
kidnappings.
I didn't even look up the news or nothing. I honestly don't know DC.
Oh, 'cause
only been in Oklahoma.
That's what happened when you were going through the house before you were gone.
So there was
Did
an
you about that?
explosion.
There was a house explosion in D.C. while she was down there.
He blew himself up in his own house.
You hear about this? It was a big story. It's hilarious.
No, I don't read the news. And you were there while this happened?
Yes.
It was the first night I was there.
Like some Asian guy blew up his house was inside of it, basically.
Oh my goodness.
It was crazy, but I felt no danger at all the whole time I was there. Like no like. Ick
Is that because there was no danger? Because you're just oblivious to stuff.
It's because I'm oblivious,
Okay.
and I believe the Lord really protects me because I'm not dumb.
That's crazy. I'm a grown woman. I really don't think that I would do that. I don't think I could do it.
I don't know. I think I would do it again. It's just so much fun. And I never had a desire to see any of the stuff that I went to go see until I got there. And I was like, might as well go see all of
Yeah.
it. I'm like,
Might as
right
well.
here.
Finally making very more cultured.
Yeah, I'm
That's really cool.
officially a United States citizen.
Officially.
We weren't sure. So I'm glad you shared that with us.
Yeah, got that green card from
You
Canada.
know what we should do for one of these episodes? We should take a citizenship test.
Yeah?
That
I
would be
wouldn't pass
fun.
it for nothing.
Yeah, I don't think I passed it. I think I could do. I don't know. Because there's some questions are very date specific on there. I think.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And that's
And
why
I
I messed up
wouldn't-
on that. I could get.
yeah.
I would know about it. I think, but I would.
Like,
the
I've
dates would be hard for
heard
me.
of this.
I think I could answer a few questions.
I had heard that that back in like the 18 whatever hundreds, that the exit exam for 6th grade,
Uh-huh.
like the exam you had to take to make it to 7th grade, was like most college students today wouldn't be able to pass it.
See, I think they should make
So-
every high school student pass the U.S. citizenship test,
I'd agree.
just because it would help with like understanding basic stuff.
Sorry, my Albert Einstein over there is crying.
Well, actually, this is a good kind of segue here because I
know,
was
you're welcome.
yes. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and this guy was talking about how the education system. He was coming from like a college level. He was a college professor. How it's so messed up, and how the curriculum's.
Kids.
It's good. How the curriculum is so not even accurate anymore.
Yeah.
Because like, there's a lot of stuff that like or helpful, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You have to how even biology classes, it's focused on certain things, but it didn't focus on teaching how to recognize basic health stuff.
Sure, yeah.
How
Yeah.
how to recognize how to like you mentioned COVID, for example. He said it doesn't teach people how to identify risks and what would be actually.
Kind of weigh it
Yeah,
out and how to like at home manage some of those things.
Yeah,
I
and,
feel like there's a wealth of knowledge about that they do not tell you.
and
they
kind
don't
of
tell
coming
you.
at from more a practical side of these courses instead of just here's a basic.
It's feels
rundown.
very it's like a gloss over a lot of stuff. And I think part of it is because we have amassed so much change and technology and information that to cram it all in is hard. You do have to skim over
Sure.
stuff. But I just
His point is more making every class more practical for a person to actually make it useful for them on the road
Yeah.
too. Making it so it's more it challenges them to think
Well, the
and
whole
breaking
premise
things
of-
down to understand how to handle different stuff in life, that kind of thing.
yeah. So the whole premise of Charlotte Mason Education, actually, which is what I've been reading, is about it's about education for the whole person. So like, kind of what you just said, basically taking, you're not just giving them information to memorize and spit out to prove that they know it, which is so very Americanized,
Yeah.
standardized education. And so, but she talks about like, as part of their education, they need to be, actually marked a passage that I kind of wanted to read and show you because it's funny, but she's talking about how children's diet, getting fresh air,
Yeah.
things like that all play a part in how well, because she described it, now I don't know how anatomically accurate this is, but she described it like when you're learning something, your brain is using up tissue basically, and she's saying what you eat and the fresh air you breathe and your oxygen and your blood and all this stuff is working really hard to replenish all of the tissue that you expend, whether you're playing outside or you're learning something.
Yeah.
Which is true, even though it happens in such a way that you don't even notice, like how it's working. But, and she said, so you have to consider what they're eating, how their sleep is. She's like, don't let them sleep on linen or something. She's like, put them in wool because of the way, stuff like this. Which, how true that is, I'm not sure. But I just thought it was interesting. Her philosophy of education is about how to make them a productive and useful member of society, and how to, instead of just, literally, public education is all about, you memorize this set of facts. In 2 weeks, I'm going to give you some questions, answer them, and we'll move on. Don't even worry about that for the rest of your life. you just, and some of it's very useless. Like there truly is
Absolutely.
nothing you can do with that information. But
I think that practical side of things is very important when it comes to education and learning. And I was thinking about that because he was very interesting. Some of the stuff he said I didn't agree with, but it was very interesting. You know who Brett Weinstein is? Weinstein? He was like, whenever they had the dark web, what's called the intellectual dark web came out, whatever it's called, with Ben Shapiro, all them guys, like 4 or 5 years ago, like 2016. It was like with Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, they all kind of came together basically. He was one of those guys who was kind of on that same group of
I
people.
don't think I do. It sounds really familiar, but I don't.
But he's
I've heard the
he's
name.
more on the left, but he's a college professor. But
Is
he
it
was
Weinstein?
Brett Weinstein or Weinstein, something like
Okay.
that. But he's more on the left, kind of more liberal. But he's also very much kind of when it comes to his talks more common sense, I guess, all that stuff, if that makes sense. So that's what I don't agree with him on, but he has some good points when it comes to education, being a college professor, kind of his take on where things are at. And one thing I've been thinking a lot about recently is, people's reading levels. And I think to me, because one of the basic necessities for learning is knowing how to read. And knowing how to read well. Because you have to be able to read and understand, not just read, comprehend when you're reading, I guess, is a better way of putting it. Yeah. When it comes to learning, especially when you go to more advanced or more deeper topics or learning. Even the Bible, the King James Bible, if you don't have a higher reading level, it can be very difficult to understand, And I'm all about, dumbing things down to an extent to help cater to people and make people understand stuff. But I think we're at a point now sometimes where even a 6th grade reading level, some people don't quite have it. Because we spend so little time reading nowadays, Where back, even 100 years ago, even less than that really, reading was still a major part of society, and so it's gone now. But reading is such a big thing when it comes to learning, and it concerns me sometimes when I hear people who are my age who they don't have a very high reading level, and it's like,
well, even if they physically can read, but they just don't
comprehend.
It's something about they can't comprehend it, and they can't like discipline their mind to it almost,
But I notice myself sometimes when I spend like a lot of time not reading. That it takes me a minute to kind of get back into what am I reading, comprehending it.
Because I know a lot of people that, which we actually ironically put a lot of focus on reading in the American education system, more so than math. Like if you compare nations, but a lot of it, the emphasis is on the technical how to read. And there's not a lot of like critical thinking skills taught. So a lot of people.
Well, plus you add social media and you have dopamine hits.
But I'm talking like our generation that wasn't necessarily raised on Instagram, even those older than us are this way, that they just don't enjoy reading. It's like they haven't learned how to give themselves to it. Because I feel like there are books that, and I like to read, but there are definitely books that I don't want. Like it's hard or it doesn't just come easy. I have to like really think and grapple with it and work with it. But you can learn how to give yourself to it, like how to fall into the discipline of it, and
I think it's
work things
it's
out.
not when it comes to comprehension, it's vocabulary and
That's fair,
what's the word? Vocabulary, basically the level of words you understand and comprehend. Because sometimes I notice with my vocabulary, I'll say stuff that I think is common words, and I have people looking like, what does that mean? Fair to my time, I'm just kidding.
I
But,
do it all the time.
My house.
I don't have a very
expansive
Didn't
vocabulary.
you
Vernacular.
just ask me what?
I did that. I know what it meant, but I did that for the listeners though, because I knew they wouldn't understand what that meant. I knew what it meant.
Don't
though.
you downgrade our
My
listeners like that?
vernacular is not very
I
expansive.
did it for Vera. Okay, she had a fun time. I'm just kidding. No, but I think because there is
Have
that.
you ever said a word that you read and you've only ever read it, so you have no idea how it's pronounced, and you say it and someone's like,
What is
mean
it?
the word hors d'oeuvres? I
Yeah.
pronounced that horse devours for like
A long time.
Or
and
koozie.
because I would read it, and then when people would say hors d'oeuvres, I never made the connection
Makes
because
sense
it does
what it
not
was.
sound anything like it looks.
Yeah.
And then finally, I was like listening to an audiobook or something, or in context, I realized what they were talking about, and I was like,
What?
hors d'oeuvres? I thought horse devours. Anyways,
Horse
But that's a big thing when it comes to understanding or comprehending.
Yeah.
But with vocabulary, because I think it's a very big deal, because when you're trying to grow yourself in learning and reading, or even listening to audiobooks or listening to podcasts sometimes, when the speech level's at a higher level, speaking at a higher level, and you can't comprehend it, you can't truly understand or grasp what's being spoken. Because I know people who have like tried to listen to some deeper podcasts, not our podcast, but some deeper podcasts, like a Jordan Peterson type, where it's very, very deeper, bigger words.
I almost get lost in his.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But like the average person, or the less average person, when it comes to, if you're at a 6th grade reading level, you're gonna struggle with a lot of that, and
it's
comprehending and digging deep.
It's definitely a discipline and like an exercise you have to train your mind in, for sure, and you have to like get good at it. But I read it was a David McCullough book, and I think it was the Wright brothers. I'm not sure. Talking about when they invented the unicycle or the bicycle or something. I don't know. Talking about when they invented this and people started using them more.
Yeah.
And a lot of parents and a lot of like leaders in different societies, like townspeople and mayors or whatever, were saying we need to cut back on all this writing because it's taking away too much of their reading time.
Yeah.
Like people are, and they weren't talking about kids. They were talking about like everybody as a whole.
Yeah.
Was spending too much time on their unicycles and not reading. And I was like, what? Because to me, that's physical exercise. Like that's a great thing to be doing. I wish we were riding unicycles, but they were concerned that it would take away too much reading time.
Well, I think society as a whole has gotten away from even just learning. We have so much information at our fingertips that could be right or could be wrong. And so we have that information. You mentioned earlier, Heidi, critical thinking. If you don't have those critical thinking skills, anything you see, you will probably believe. And without critical thinking skills, without
I'm kind of that way.
Going deeper,
I'm very serious too.
You'll find yourself not digging past the basic thing that's just fed to you through your algorithm on your social network or whatever. And I saw this one video the other day. I was studying some stuff, and it talked about how much learning now is such a skill. How learning is a skill. It's something you have to dedicate yourself to. Because, and I've found myself being guilty of this too, where it's easier just to get on your phone
and just look it up,
or scroll, or just be chill on your downtime. Just like, you know what, I'm tired. I'll take a break. I've had a long day. Instead of reading or doing something productive, I'm just going to get on my phone and mess around. And we find it, which is easy. It's a dopamine hit after dopamine hit, and it's easy to do. When we try to study something or actually try to go into something deeper, it's like it feels like it's impossible. It's a lot harder because you're actually having to work your brain, work yourself. And it's interesting because we read like history books. Like I remember we read John Adams a while back on the podcast, and we talked about how he spent so much time studying till midnight on his nights, because that's what that's all he had to do, but he found that such joy in that, and such understanding that, because he had that skill and that understanding of how to dig it out, and there was such excitement there to discover and find. And with so much stuff at our fingertips, I think some of the discovery is missing, that thing that makes you want to know more.
The challenge is missing,
right?
Is what I think it is. Like something about John Adams reading all of that material, and he was taking notes on everything and coming up with his own understanding of it. And I think a lot of people now, and to me that almost feels dangerous to say, like coming up with your own way of thinking, like your own position on things that maybe differ.
Yeah.
But I think because I think a lot of us have just been conditioned, whether it was by school or just by common, pop culture in a way, conditioned to think certain ways, and so. Yeah. We have no challenges. I remember when, I don't know if you even remember this, but when George Floyd happened, that whole situation, this was like a day after the story broke.
Yeah. And
there were so many opinions flying from so many different places. Like one side was saying this, another side is saying, and you're just looking at all the facts and reading all the stuff and just like, where do I stand on this? What do I think?
Yeah.
And I remember it almost sent me into a tailspin, because I was like, this is what I thought, but now I'm reading all these different opinions. What do I think? What is the answer? And we didn't have all the facts at that time. I don't know how much of the video was out. And so you and me and a friend of ours, and Skylar was there, I think, too. We're all just sitting around talking about it. And I liked hearing opinions, being able to debate and go back and forth, and because it helped me like piece together, this is what I think about it. And I think a lot of times we're not, that's what learning is like hearing those different opinions and subjecting yourself to that process. It's easier to just say, oh, well, this is what the news said, this is what I think too, and then just go on about your business. And it's harder to like grapple with it. And I think not just cases like that, but different challenges. What do you believe about how we are saved, or what do you believe about how children should be raised, or things like that? Like, it's much easier to just read one thing and say, okay, that's what I believe, or I listen to this one leader who I trust, and that's good for me. Which, it's good to have leaders that you trust, but I think it's better to be able to take all this information, the Bible, of course, too.
It's how do you know it or not?
Do what?
Do you actually know it or not?
And I don't
can you explain it to me, I guess?
I don't think you can know it for yourself truly until you go through that process.
Sure. Absolutely.
Like, you can believe something, and like, okay, so like a revelation of the oneness of God, something like that. Like, you can believe that, or like this is how you're raised, you've read that scripture for yourself, but there is something about when you dig through it and
you get it for yourself,
read it for yourself, and figure it out for yourself,
it means a lot
invaluable.
More.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It means a lot more. Anything you do for yourself, it's gonna mean more. When things are given to you, it does mean a little less. Mm-hmm. It's easy to let go of. And one of my favorite things to do in our class, our social class, is to ask them questions that are basic. Just to ask the basic questions about the Bible. Why this past Sunday I asked them, why do we celebrate Christmas, and why was Jesus born? Why did Jesus have to be born in the first place? And walking him through the questions of bringing, okay, so he came back to die for us. Why? Yeah. Why did he die for us? And really asking them, again, basic questions. But sometimes when you get asked the most basic questions, you realize how little you know about the basics. Sure. Yeah. And we're all guilty of that. We get asked, we get asked a simple question, like, okay, I know the answer. And you're like, okay, why is that the answer? Well, you see,
someone was always doing that to me in Sunday school.
Yes.
Like, ask a basic question, like,
but I think in a lot of big topics that you can really wrestle with and grapple with, the best way to do it is to step backwards and say, okay, well, this is what I believe. This is an absolute. My dad would always say that. Has he ever said that to you?
Of course.
Go back to the absolutes, which honestly, kind of true. But you can do that to any concept, any big thing, and just break it down. Okay, what do I know for sure about this? And then work backwards from there. Yeah. But that's like it's such a mental untangling and a mental exercise. And it is easier just to say, forget it. Like, I just read this on the internet.
I think it's coming to a place where it's okay to ask questions.
Yeah.
But it's also, you got to know what sources are right or wrong too. Yeah. I don't think you should question the source necessarily when it comes to the Word of God. Like, that's the main source. It's something you don't question. But what you do question is, okay, why does it say this, or what does it actually say on this topic, on this issue, and really figuring out for yourself what it actually says, and believing it for yourself. And when it comes to cultural issues, okay, why do they tell me this? Why do I believe this? Why should I accept this fact? Why? Because, if we're not careful, I see this a lot in my generation and younger. We're so inundated with opinions from the culture that without realizing it, we let some things slip into our minds the way we think without even realizing we're thinking that way. And when it comes to like principles like feminism or, this anything along those lines, that it may not be full blown, we may not have the full on acceptance of it, but there's some things that I'll catch people saying, or myself saying, like, wait a minute, that's not quite right.
Sure, yeah.
And it's like, but it's been so pushed on us just from a cultural standpoint that we begin to accept things that we should be accepting. When we begin to and we accept things in small ways, and it's learning to ask yourself questions. And asking questions, I think, is a very incredible skill to have, because we've gotten away from asking questions to an extent. Yeah. Like when you listen to a podcast and the interviewers are a good interviewer, and you can tell a good interviewer from a bad interviewer. And because sometimes I'll ask a question, like, wow, that was a great question. You're like, that's actually really interesting. I didn't think of it that way. And when you have good questions being asked, it really sparks your mind, what you're thinking. Okay, that's a good question. You start asking questions in your own mind. Okay, on top of that, what is this? What is that? And it expands the way you think.
I might have to go run interference here.
It expands the way you focus. This Heidi goes and questions why her baby's crying right now. So, what's going on in that bedroom? What is Skylar doing? We'll let you know next week. Stay tuned to the show. What happened to Shepherd? So I think one thing would be good for us to do, maybe a little bit of a challenge for all of us, that I think might be kind of fun. Maybe kind of fun.
Trying all the
And we might do this on the
variations.
podcast at some point, or do a YouTube video for it.
Try the Reese's variations?
Yes, do that.
Okay, good.
But also, we should take a reading test.
I agree.
Like, take what your grade level is, and see where we're at.
Let's
I
do
think it'd be
it.
fun. Just to see it. But also, because here's the
Let's
thing.
do it right now.
Let's do it. I'm being serious. I'd say do it right now.
Okay, we'll video it and put it on the
We'll have to
YouTube
look
page.
it up.
But take the reading test and see where our levels are at for our reading levels. And I think you should do it as well, because here's what you can do. This can help you out by saying, okay, here's where I'm at. And then figure out where you want to get to in this next year. And you can what you do is you can look at books that are at that reading level, as the baby drools all over my face. And you can find books that are, say, 1 grade above your reading level.
Oh, great.
And next year, start reading those books. Start stretching your comprehension of stuff and really trying to figure out and comprehend
don't
books
jump
that
too
are.
high,
They don't go from like 6th grade to like advanced college books. You have no clue what's going on, but just go 1 grade higher, and then once you start getting comfortable with that,
Yeah, goes from the Bears team to Dostoevsky.
hey, listen, that's to Amelia Bedelia, whatever it is.
Hey, don't you hate on Amelia Bedelia? That's how I learned what dates were.
But
it's the kind that you eat.
but good. It challenges. Just challenge yourself to expand your capacity to comprehend. And I think that's something that's very important. To expand your capacity to comprehend. As this baby stares me down.
You want to say
He's
something,
looking at
Sheppy?
you and drooling.
I'm not your snack. Okay, stay away from me.
You want to say something?
You want some Sprite?
You want to say something?
You want some
Say
Sprite?
something, Sheppy?
You say something.
He wants some Sprite.
You want to say something?
You want
Don't
some?
give him that.
Oh my goodness.
You want to say
He'll be
something?
fine.
Right, it has phosphate in it.
Here, say something. Say
Has
something.
good stuff in it too.
Look.
Can you say something in the microphone?
I saw it drooling all over my microphone.
Ah.
Oh my, that's disgusting.
Oh, good job.
Yes.
Barbara.
By the way, I am gonna steal the name, image, and likeness of your kid. So
You're gonna what?
steal the name, image, and likeness of your kid, the NIL of your kid, so I can market it and sell it for my own.
All right, well then we'll just.
If y'all want a Baby Shep T-shirt, let me know. But yeah, do the reading comprehension test
I'd wear them on a t-shirt.
and go from there. So,
Yeah, that'd be fun. We should do it.
all
Let's
right.
do it. I'm doing it right now.
Anything else to add?
I think my first
Read a
grade
book.
level.
Read a book.
And make a plan for your reading. I think if you just say, "Oh, I want to read more books," then you're never gonna do it. But if you make a plan, you can make it happen.
And don't be afraid to start out in fiction.
No, for sure.
I'm serious, because sometimes fiction can teach you the most about.
It's just harder, I feel like, to find good books that are fiction because
Yeah.
you have to wade through so much garbage.
Yeah, maybe we can make a list of good fiction books to read.
1984, apparently. is a good
With
one.
parental discretion, 1984.
Oh, never mind. I'll read
For
it.
like,
Ask your parents
a check.
first if you're under 16.
Under 16 or under 18?
oh no, that's not mixed into
What about what's that one called? Fahrenheit 451. That's a good one. It's a
didn't
short
read
read.
that whole thing. Isn't that where they burn the books?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That
It's
one.
by Ray Bradbury. I know that.
Yeah, there's some.
Lord of the Flies, good fiction. So
The
is.
Giver. I like The Giver.
I've never read that.
It's smaller.
Because of when
I-
Dixie?
I
I like
Because of
Mary
when
Higgins Clark
Dixie is-
books.
yeah. I really liked I Am Legend, but it's no one might be like if it's a little deeper of a reading level, so like 16 plus there too. I don't know, but there's a lot there. There's like it really got me thinking about a lot of stuff. But anything George Orwell,
Animal Farm.
that kind of stuff. Animal Farm would be good for any age, I think, actually.
Yeah.
Or 12 and up, probably. So yeah, Animal Farm is a good one to start with. But there's a lot of fun, good books out there that can challenge you. C.S. Lewis books are pretty good when it comes to
Yes.
interesting stuff.
Sorry, I gave my kid a high five and a piece of fuzz just for what I was
But yeah, try to find some niche stuff. And
C.S. Lewis.
when it comes to some challenging stuff, do some audiobooks. Like David McCallum has great books, but sometimes they're really long and hard to get. Like, it's overwhelming sometimes when you see these books.
Yeah. Just
So
those,
do some
just
audiobooks.
take a bite at a time. You'll get through it eventually.
And the book we're now about, or listening to now, but just watching it's 42 hours long. It's an audiobook
George
version.
Washington.
I'm like 10 hours in and not even a minute in it, so you know. But it's super in depth, super good. So, but yeah, that's all we got today.
Oh, that's all I got to say.
All right, we'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.